We don't
Right.
take breaks.
Yoshinelli here for your little Shabbat snippet, little something on the Parsha, right? So this Shabbat is Shabbat Rosh Chodesh, right? It's right after Rosh Chodesh.
Correct. Yeah.
And
Very
we
special.
learn the book of Vaikra. We start a new book, and it's the book of Vaikra. The Parsha of Vaikra starts with, and God called upon Moshe. It's just interesting to know that the letter Aleph, okay, which is part of the word Vayikra, the last letter, Vayikra, is written, it's written very small in small letter form. And traditionally throughout the Torah, when God, Hashem speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu, it states that Vayidaber, and he spoke to, or Vayomer, and he told to. So here there's two questions. Why now do we use and start a new book in a parsha with the word Vayikra rather than the more usual word Vayidaber or Vayomer, right?
That's interesting. Yeah, I never thought of that.
And also, the second question is why with a small aleph? Maybe here, perhaps here's the lesson for each of us. We see that the word Vaikra, and he called upon us, right, is a term of endearment. And so you may talk to many people, but you only call upon very few. So if one looks at his day, okay, he's going to see that he talks to many people on average, but he only really calls upon very few. So here also, as well, Hashem is telling each and every one of us, you're dear to me, and I'm calling you personally, Vaikra. Could be a play of words also of Karov, Vaikra Karov, close to me, bringing him close to me, or further Yakar, precious to me.
Ah, I like that.
If you do pronounce the minuscule, if you say the minuscule aleph, right? And that could be why the small aleph, in order to show each and every one of us that no matter how small or far you are from Hashem, Hashem is always calling you personally and wants you to have a relationship with you. Hashem wants to have a relationship with you personally. And Hashem wants to be karov, he wants to be close to you. And further, you are yakar, you're precious to Hashem. And thus he is vaikra to you directly. So in stating this, may Hashem bless all of you. And
Wow.
that you're both in your personal life and public life in the same way in the month of Nisan, the month of miracles, and Hashem should perform for all of us and for all of us miracles for us to see and experience this positive light with everything that we want and abundant and overflowing with blessings, right? And B'ezrat Hashem, we should have an amazing Shabbat to continue all of our traditions of the Torah. So this is just a little couple of words.
Wow. That
Enjoy.
was really, really nice. I like that, especially when you give everyone a blessing afterwards. Like, wow, delicious. So I read something this morning, which it kind of like blew my mind because I thought the opposite. So it kind of spoke about the Ola offering, how we have three different types of sacrifice based on, I guess, I don't want to use your finances, but what you're capable of buying to give the Ola offering. So we have, you bring like a nice juicy cow if you're rich. If you're kind of wealthy, you bring like a lamb, and if you're poor, you bring a bird. But why? There's more to it than what you could afford. You know, so another commentary says that, and I wasn't sure. Maybe you have an opinion how to really take this, but when you're wealthy, your thoughts tend to be a little more extreme. They tend to be a little more out there when you're wealthy. You might have a little, I don't want to say dirty thoughts, but you have more things going on in your mind. When you're a little less wealthy, you might not have as much going on as far as things that are a little inappropriate. When you're poor, you might not have as inappropriate thoughts because when you're confident and you have wealth, you might feel like you're thinking about things that you shouldn't because you feel so confident. Which, and this is just a commentary. I'm not dissing anyone who has wealth or doesn't. But I actually thought that, and so it's worse to have bad thoughts than to act inappropriate, to actually physically act, which I thought, you could think something bad, but then if you don't act upon it, you don't say it, then it's not really at fault. Because I once read a commentary that when you think something, it's okay. It's a matter of doing it that's bad. But then they said that that doesn't really make sense because it's all about your soul. And when you're thinking something, you're really affecting your soul. You're affecting the inside of you, your mind, your soul. But when you act on something, that's your physical part, which is still bad. They didn't say, okay, if you're thinking something bad, just act it out and don't think about it, because you obviously can't do it. But the thought leads to the act.
Right.
So that's why it was that's another reason why people who are wealthy brought a bigger animal, because they might have more inappropriate thoughts, and then they would act upon them more often. Someone who doesn't have money would have a kind of inappropriate thought, and they wouldn't always act upon it because they weren't so confident into actually doing that act, which I thought was wild to hear that, because it kind of makes sense. When you think it, that's what makes you do it. So
Right.
your thoughts are more important than your acts, which
Amazing.
I thought the opposite this whole time. But it totally makes sense, because your thought leads to your act. So I guess my
Amazing.
blessing is, don't think inappropriately. Not that you shouldn't be wealthy. That I would never say. That's wealth is important because you can do a lot of good with it. But
Right.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it's the intent. Sometimes, and sometimes the opposite is true as well. That if you have an intent to do something good, and you can't actually do it, but you have that intent, then
Yeah,
you also could get, rewarded for it as well. All
yeah.
right. Amazing, amazing. Well, everyone who hasn't had the chance to see, we did Yosha's first,
Our first.
our first on Yosha's story. Basically, first public speaking event at Landau High School, right? Middle school.
Such an experience.
And it was nice to share with the kids your story. And you can check that out on our YouTube channel.
And
You
on
can,
livingyosh.com as
yeah,
well. But let me just add one thing, Ellie, if you don't mind.
yes,
I'll tell you, one of the most special parts about yesterday when we did that was, it made me really realize, how much strength a child has. Not only, when, for me, the physics that I got out of speaking to them, but they really are the future. I know we say it all the time, but to see them sitting in this school, and I'm not saying they want to be there, but you just look at them in a whole different way, and you're just like, wow, this really is our future. By speaking to them, I'm hoping I affect when we speak to them, I hope we're affecting their future, because we need them so badly. We need them to grow up strong. So every word we say to them could affect their life in so many ways. And I think we did a pretty good job. I think we
yeah,
give ourselves a pat on the back, because we spoke to them with our hearts. And we spoke to them like, you are leaders one day, so we want to get this message in your mind. So I highly suggest that any educator, any parent, anyone, any friend, when you speak to a child, try to make them feel good, because they are the future. They really are.
right.
And words matter so much.
Amazing, amazing, absolutely, 100%. So we have to keep inspiring the younger generation. Zat
I
Hashem.
mean, and don't speak during Kaddish.
Right. Chazak. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom, Ellie. Thank you.
Bye.